Alright, so we're moving on to the next study. This study is a little, I think it has 4 charts associated with it, which is more than the rest. So it says how the charts, the times, foretold the panic of the 20s. The figure chart shows the 1 point movements of the average price of 50 stocks. So it's an index, according to the New York Times. The first important formation is AB. Here, after the false move up to 48 and another down to 42, gradually makes a horizontal formation at 44 and 45. When the market leaves 45 for the last time, it works up to 47. And 49 and 50, we have clear indication from the 12 times that the price crosses the 44 level that's likely to go to 254.56. Okay. So he's looking at this and saying he has an indication. The 3 point chart says something similar. But it's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 3, 21. Added to 45, get around 66. 65, 66. Unless he's counting from the low, then it would be 63, 64. It's a 3 point chart. The important fact is that 5 point forecast calls for an advance to the new high. Alright, important fact is that the 5 point forecast calls for an advance into a new high around the top of the rally. The action of the average between 73 and 80 from E to F. What happened to C and D? I don't know what he did. It's probably going to come up later somewhere. Anyway, so he goes from E to F, indicates the probability of considerable decline. For the 77, 78 mark is recorded 9 times, and formation stretches out on 75 line while observing the weakening of support and increase in the pressure, as indicated by the 2 rallies to 78. After 80 top, on the final move to F, the market is on a hinge, but instead of going down, it contradicts and refuses to break down. And instead rises to 77. So he says on a hinge. All right, so the count there was something like 11, I think. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. Between 85 and 80, formation begins, which is broader than the former one. One. So the count is 10. Right, so off these tops over here, the count is 10, includes white spaces. One, no. So that target was reached at 75. And it doesn't break the 73 levels, so that's a very important support level. And this time, it rallies sharply without building a base to a new high. Alright, so that rally from K to L, right there, the rally from K to L, there's no cause. No cause. But it still goes right from K to L because it was short covering. So it's like sharp up move, sharp down move. This is a tough thing to deal with. Note that when the average fulfills its indication, alright, so C and D are mentioned here. What does he say? When the average fulfills the indication of the 1 point chart by going back to the former May high at 54, its less than normal reaction to 51 and brief hesitation there tells us in advance that it's likely to go and try for higher objective. Okay, brief reaction hesitation tells us price is going higher. See, so it goes down and bounces right back up. It goes down, bounces right back up. So it's not willing to stay there long. Makes a point about the 45-degree angle and then says, that angle was not, at first it was there, but later on it became more obtuse, and it was difficult to make price highs. The recovery from K to L was evidently forced, for that high was not long sustained. It's getting real complicated here. Okay, so a lot of stuff here. The moment we have a clear indication the market is headed upward for a new advance, we check back on the 1 point and weigh the implication of this range between I to N. So he wants to check this range. Something like that. On the basis it holds at P. He's saying that these are shakeouts. '78 to '80 absorption took place from 5. What the hell? '78 to '80 absorption took place. I don't know where he's getting that from. 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 8. And now he's looking at that cause. Anyway, so after S finally it met sufficient offering to force averages back to 297, but not through the support level Q. Okay, so this behavior is a little bit interesting here, right? The count took the price to the support level, but was not able to break it at T. All right, so that thing right there, went down, but it wasn't able to go through it. Actually, it's not even the count; it's just supply. Okay, so I have to delete this shit because the count had there was no count there. It's up to that point. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just delete this. It was just supply that took it to the support level, so I don't think it matters. Okay, but this was a covering rally from U to W. So there's the short covering rally. See that indicated a downtrend. I think that's the key point. Erratic movements, because this is very difficult. Down and up, down, up, down, up. Hmm. Okay, it's an important point. Uh, that's another point here. Like, there's certain groups that they keep on making highs just to fool the public into, all right, yeah, markets continuing to go higher, even though like other, it's like this. If you keep watching, certain high price stocks, the fangs currently, and they're doing good, but they will fool you because the public is looking at those stocks, so they'll keep on taking them to new highs while the rest of the market is being distributed, or the majority of groups are being distributed. Five-point chart. What the hell is he looking at? Hmm. this is, where is the 5-point chart? 1 point, 1 point, 3 point. He's saying that here the weakness is very clear at X on the 3-point chart. So this is weakness. Oh, no, 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 no. It's 16 times 3. Ooh. Times 3, which is 16 times 3, 30, 48. So it's 48. Okay. 48. So 307 minus 48. 357. 259. What the fuck? Getting complicated. Okay. Shit. So anyway, he did the count all the way from the left all the way to the right, where the short not the short covering rally, but this getting the scaring the shorts out. So he's taking the entire count, and that's what was reached. What's interesting is that it goes from W to AA. it's also interesting. He calls like the right head or left shoulder or whatever it is. He calls it like primary and secondary distribution. So here, that sharp rally, that today would be like a break and a test, like a break of ice, right? And then test, and then it distributed there. That test after the break is can be part of the cause. That's one thing. Second is it's considered secondary distribution, and that's what you know completes the bull campaign. So after a break of ice, there can be a rally. A rally without cause, which is a test and a maneuver to shake out shorts or a last attempt by the bulls at support, whatever it is, and it can be considered as part of the count. So basically what happened, bang, breaks. There must have been an old support level here. I mean, over here you can see the rally, but whatever. You have a nice break here. You have a test right into that area. Starts moving sideways, forms a little base, breaks to that support level, rallies, and breaks. Alright, that was a lot. But there are a couple of things to take away. When you have rally without cause, what is it? Especially if it's not maintained for too long, it could be short covering from a prior support level, or it could be like just a move to support that's rallying because bulls are there or whatever, but it's not there for a sustained bull campaign. So that's very important. Other than that, you see how he takes the cause. It's from a base, but he extends it, and he extends it here all the way back here. The other thing is, like, this here indicated a downtrend, but there was a new high after it. This is also very important. You see this many times. This later, I think, may have been coined as upthrust after distribution. It has that upthrust after distribution thing. You might want to see if an upthrust after distribution is coming from an area that has no cause. It has no bull, a big good base. It's just hitting support or something, and just goes up. I've seen this so many, not so many times, but enough times where you have a change of behavior, and then you have a rally um, that just upthrusts these guys because they see a strong wave down and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go short, 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 But there's a move that takes them right out. A lot of folks will call this manipulation or shakeout or upthrust or whatever, but it's very common. And then after that, you have a break. Um, it's a false move, whatever you want to call it. What I see here immediately is you have a rally, you have a base, you have a target, you have, you know, this pulled back right down to a support level, goes back to a resistance level, completes the base. From that base, goes down, cracks that level, and then you have that upthrust maneuver to rally, A, B, C type of upthrust. After it does that upthrust, that's when the bull campaign is done, and it just breaks. When it breaks, it goes down, down. These are pathetic rallies, and it goes down all the way AA, and I bet there's some level there. And then it just rallies. It just goes up here and encounters supply here. Why? Because you can see the base over here, and that is like the same level that it broke at this area. So that's where I'm expecting it to go, because that's where the break occurred. So there's a test of a breakdown, forms a base right there. Because why? Because demand here is encountering supply. Supply is being encountered here. So the force of demand is encountering supply. That's the base, and that basically is the end, and it continues. The key is don't use this base alone as part of the count. You want to take this base and take it all the way back. All the way back. Okay, so their counts being done from the top. Their counts being done from the test of ice. This count is from the test of ice all the way back, and that's projecting. Here you got a rally, you got a base. I don't know if he said it or not, but it's very evident that you got like a hinge-like formation here. Rally. This I see all the time too, and I was trying to figure out what this was. When you have like a move down and it quickly bounces back up, he's saying that it's gonna go. You'll see this also a lot of times, and you don't even need a point figure chart. You see it on the bar chart all the time. Goes up here, rally, comes back down, goes sideways. Here, I think the market was, because when it starts absorbing here, that's what I see, like, goes back, absorbs, breaks, rallies. So you thought this was initially distribution because, these tops. But all it did was come back down with support level, spring, hinge, bang, test the hinge, test the breakout, go higher, form the base, go down, short covering rally again. There's no base here. There's no base. Goes to new high, comes right back down. Who knows what this thing in the middle is, but it's holding that 60 support with shakeouts below it. Goes up, tests, and rallies. Already went over this. This I have no clue. Here, you have all these bases here. This 3 point is really important. The key over here is the higher low, higher low, higher low. Went up here, side, break. That was evidence of weakness in my book. That T, that from a price perspective, I bet was the biggest column straight down. Yeah, I can't draw this shit. That column right there, T, I bet is the biggest down column there is in the trend. That is a price-based change of behavior. A lot of times I see the biggest wave down initially, like when you have a big wave down, that's evidence of supply after multiple waves higher. Wyckoff talked about that in his tape reading course. And he looked at these waves that went higher, 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 and he saw the biggest down wave based on price. He said there was a change of behavior, or I forgot what he said with the other term. So it's based on price and volume. It's not just, okay, it has the biggest volume. It could also be based on price, because his initial wave chart didn't have volume. It has price and time. So that's your change of behavior. Went down, made a lower low right there. And then it went up here. In my book, that would be your upthrust after distribution to take out the early shorts and trap longs. And you can see very clearly how big this rally is here. Rally, reaction. I bet there was some high volume attempt at W. Anyway, after that it's game over. Like, you have your change of behavior, makes a lower low, rallies, this traps, goes down, weak rally attempt, break. In my book, this is I don't know where it is. From this is the low to the high. Control 1 second. Right. So rallied, pull back. Rally, pull back. Right there. That was the ice line. Ice line. Test of ice. And made a base cause supply. That's what happened. Again, some of these things Wyckoff doesn't say in this study, but from the past studies, like you pick it up and then you just apply it. So whatever's coming to your mind, judgments, you just apply it. And everyone knows break and test. And right here, it was actually on a springboard at 95 when it took out that low. And there are different types of springboards. Like there's a breakout type of springboard, which is different from the triangle springboard. The triangle springboard, it looks like a wedge, but the breakout springboard breaks a level, and right when it breaks a level, there might be a very minor reaction, but at that point, it's ready for sharp markup or markdown. And that right there obviously is 95. Anyway, this study is done. I've gone over market technique already in a prior video. Take a look at that. Very important to understand volume. If you don't understand volume, you're shortchanging yourself. And remember, most people don't understand volume. So if you understand volume and most people don't, it might be considered an edge. Because I'm seeing like a lot of people say price is king. Stupid things like that. They don't understand that price can be used to manipulate, and volume volume can also, but you're missing data. So use volume, and all this shit covers it. So I'm not going to go over it again. But volume is very important, and you have to understand what it means. And the study that does the best job that I've seen is the first study, the trend study. That is his milestone study. The first study in this course covers that. And the second thing where he talks about volume is actually not in this course. It's in an article that he wrote in one of those stock market technique books. The first article that he said is how the law of supply and demand works. That article talks about volume, and it is like a lot of those articles you just like read and be like, oh, that's nice, that's good, yeah, that reinforces what I know. That particular article can change the way you see markets, so that's how important that is. Anyway, so moving on. So it's like an article called How the Law of Supply and Demand Works or something like that, and it's in the Stock Market Technique 1, or I think it's in 1 or 2, but wherever it is. The significance of trend lines, I might go through this. I might not go through this because I don't like trend lines. Why? Because I'm using levels, and drawing additional trend lines is a headache. So, and a lot of folks that I've seen use trend lines, they rely on trend lines, but trend lines are fake. They're not real. Trend lines are fake. Alright, trend lines are measures of speed. They're used as a tool to measure speed, measure momentum. But people are drawing trend lines as if there's a break, the trend breaks. The trend does not break if the trend line breaks, because that trend line is not a level, it's fake. All right, the momentum of that particular move, that is what's changing. That can break. You know, if you have a lot of speed, if you're going 90 miles an hour, you might, after the trend line break, go 75 miles an hour or 70 miles an hour. Doesn't mean you go and you make a U-turn. Right? So, and also the way I've seen some charts, they have too many trend lines. So if you focus on price and volume and the bars and the shortening of the thrust and cluster closes and hypothermic maneuvers and transfer of whatever, now you get another variable of trend lines along with support and resistance. It's a mess. So that's why if I do go over it, like this is alright, but from what I've seen, like trend line after trend line after trend line, it's ridiculous. I might just go over it because it's in there, but you know when it starts like line, 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 another fucking line, like what? You crazy? You know. Anyway, so the next major study is part 6. I'll be going over that, and let's see what else is there. Damn, it's a long study. Shit. Oh my god. Jeez. 24, 25. Oh boy. So that's going to be broken down into 2 or 3 sessions, and it's on anaconda copper. And this is like a shift in what he's doing, because he figures that after you've gone through so many point and figure studies, you know what you're doing. So now he's going to combine the point and figure with the bar chart. So that's why this study is important, because it combines the bar chart, with the point and figure. It's the first time I've seen, I think, so far, where he's combining the bar chart and the point and figure chart studies together, along with the index, um, and the stock. The index and the stock. Alright, so this is up next, and let's see. Alright, and lastly, like again, you're not gonna learn too much by just watching videos. What you want to do is read the course and then apply what you're learning on the course on the chart, so you can absorb it, because this course is not easy, as you can see. Um, but I guess that's the way to learn it. Alright, that's all. Thank you. Bye bye. How do I stop this? How do I stop this video? Can't figure out how to stop this video.